Hey, what's up everybody? It's Nat from Spaceships here in the space station, I suppose I'm gonna call it. And today we are going to be playing around with effects loops. So first, what is an effects loop? An effects loop is a certain way of dividing up your signal, and so some of it remains dry and some of it is passed through the effect. You see this a lot of times in amplifiers where they will run through the preamp circuit, and then before that it will have a separate effect send that will pass it through all your delays and reverbs and stuff without getting any of your overdrive from your amp into the reverb or anything like that, because you don't always want that. I always want that, but a lot of people don't always want that. But what I think is really special is when pedals have effects loops. You see this probably most often in delays and reverbs and a few synth pedals. For instance, the Super Ego by EHX has an effects loop. The two that I use most primarily, I have for years had this. This is actually a Memory Man. I just upgraded from the Memory Boy. This is the Electro-Harmonix Deluxe Memory Man, and this has effect and send and return on that, so you can send the delayed signal into an effect, and that will only affect that delayed signal. Your dry signal is still fine. The other pedal we're going to be messing around with is this Destination Reverb Deluxe from Option 5 Effects. They are a South Bend based company. I first heard of Option 5 when I had an effects pedal on the Fritz, and I took it to Guitar Center and they told me to go to Option 5, and found out that they designed their own effects pedals right there in town. I have their overdrive on my board. It's my favorite overdrive ever. And I've gotten to know Jay a whole lot over the years. We've become really close friends. We've worked together a ton. He taught me everything I know about soldering and electronics and amp repair or anything like that. And the closest that partnership got was really when he asked me to help him design a reverb pedal to launch, and that's this one. This is actually the prototype model, the very prototype model. The one that went to market is light blue. This is a really special pedal to me, not for any sentimental reasons, but because the tone is one that is just something I can't really replicate with anything else. It's really more like a spring reverb chip that he stretched out, and so there's this really weird modulation to it that I can't really get with anything else. I can't really describe it. It's just really kind of bonkers. But what I really love about the pedal, and is what I really kind of begged Jay to do, is the effects loop. There are a lot of different things you can do with that effects loop. It's really, really fun, really, really great, and we are going to just run a bunch of different stuff through it today and see what sounds good. So, all right, so I'm gonna start with the Destiverb. I will be playing my Squier modified Jazzmaster baritone into a Gibson Falcon, because I am not done being obsessed with this guitar yet. Here is the clean signal. And here's the reverb on its own. You can hear that really nice spring modulation that is basically just the sound of the chip being broken. I usually put the mix around here. So let's try some stuff in the effects loop. Alright, let's start out with this small stone phaser, which really has been the primary thing that I've run through here for a long time. I love the small stone, but its depth is really kind of wild for running a dry signal through. You lose a lot of articulation in there, so I really like it in the effects loop here. And so you can see I have the articulation of that clean tone with the nice sweep of the phaser, but I don't really lose either of them. Going to pop in right here and make an addendum, because the whole reason that this started was because I got this Processions reverb from Old Blood Noise, and it basically does the same thing as the small stone in that effects loop. And so I started thinking, what else might I be able to put in that effects loop and have it sound really cool? And here's what I got. At the risk of giving away the ending, this combo right here is what I have ended up deciding on. This is going to stay on my board after this. And so I've had this micropog in the effects loop of my Memory Boy for years and years and years. Gives a really nice, cool octave up delay that I'm going to show you in a little bit. But I'm not using it as often as I have been. And so I tried out the micropog in the Destination Reverb. It sounds like this. Let's boost this dry up a little. Boost up the sub-octave. It's really nice and full. If you do a swell, it's got that nice pog organ sort of sound, but it's latched in with the reverb signal, which is really cool. I'm going to take the dry signal all the way out. Just the octave up. Got a little bit of that classic pog sound, like that. Nice little like whammy almost, but it's because it's in the effects loop, it's really you don't lose out on the articulation you're playing, which I like a lot. Yeah, I'll probably be setting it around here. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. All right, let's try the small clone. This is my go-to chorus. I have used it for maybe 10 years. It is just really great and lush. Really like it. But let's see how it sounds in here. The way that the spring chip in the Destination Reverb is such that it already has like a sort of warbly mod sound, but this might be a little bit like putting a hat on a hat. But let's just see how it sounds. So still, you can hear it has that mod already, but putting the small clone on, and remember this switch is kind of messed up, so the light's just always on. But putting the small clone on it really does give a little nice lush feel to it. I'm going to turn that rate up. It's maybe a little too crazy. Pull the depth back. This is the Boss SY1 synthesizer pedal. I got it for my birthday a couple years ago. Haven't really used it a ton. There are a couple like string pad sounds I like, but I don't find myself using it very much. I'm actually, I've got a Old Blood Noise Dark Star pad reverb on the way to see if I like that any better than this for the same things. And I'm going to see if Brett wants to trade me something for this because I like the way it sounds on bass a bit more, I think. But let's see how it sounds in the effects loop. Oh. Neat. That's pretty neat there. Let's try another setting. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's try a compressor. It gets really a whole way. I got the mix knob down really far. So I kind of like the way it brings out the tail a little bit. It just sort of changes the decay a little. That I don't like that noise like at all though. Okay, that's a little neat. Just for funsies, let's see what it's like to put a reverb in there. You know, speaking of putting a hat on a hat. This is the Atlantic delay and reverb module from Nux. I actually don't know anything about this. My father-in-law bought it recently, and he was telling me about it. So he just let me borrow it for a couple days just to mess around. But yeah, let's see what it's like to put a reverb into the effects loop of a reverb. I don't really know how that's any different than just running it from one pedal to the other, but whatever. Let's try the delay on here, see how that goes. almost like a tremolo reverb thing. I don't like it. This has the potential of being one of my best ideas or one of my worst ideas. I'm not sure yet. I have the big muff on my board is actually after this reverb anyway. And so I think I might know how it sounds, but like, who knows how putting it in the effects loop is going to affect anything. I'm going to start with the volume and sustain all the way down over here just so I don't destroy everything right off the bat. Obviously, it's a pretty My Bloody Valentine sort of sound. Specifically, they have a track called Sometimes that has an acoustic guitar track that is doubled and then run through fuzz, and it sounds a lot like that because you can still have like the articulation of the individual strings. So like. Kind of neat if you want to get real crazy. Okay. So let's move over to the Memory Man. And the Memory Man, I actually just upgraded this from the Deluxe Memory Boy, which is almost exactly the same pedal, but with a little more articulation on the repeats like this. Got a nice, dark, vintage analog sound on there without just completely losing it to the atmosphere, which you find with a lot of analog delays. But I had the Pog in there, which gave it a really nice climbing octave delay. So it's cool for rhythmic stuff, like. Great for swells. Especially if you have a nice long reverb at the end of that. But the fact of the matter is, I have other shimmers. Like I have the Zoom MS70 CDR, which has like an ice delay setting, which is a reverse delay with an octave up on there, and I've got the Big Sky. If I'm doing a shimmer, more and more I'm using one of those, and so I do love this pairing, but I think I like this more in the Destination Reverb, and so I'm probably going to move it over there. So if I'm going to move the Pog over to the Destination Reverb, why don't I just move the Small Stone into the Memory Man? Let's try that. Phase delay is a thing, right? gets into self-oscillation pretty quickly there. I'll turn the color down. Still get a little bit of that self-oscillation, but it's kind of neat. Try the feedback knob down, color back up. It's just really teetering right there on that self-oscillation. Just gets out of control real quick. So let's go to the small clone now. And the Memory Man does have this little built-in section for modulation, just like a nice little subtle. Make it a little more extreme. So I'm going to turn this off and see how the small clone feels on it instead. It's a little more lush. Turn that right up. It's real detuning because you still have the raw effect, the dry, unmodulated signal in there too. It's kind of neat. All right, let's try that SY1. I'm not sure how this is going to feel because the reverb gave like a really like sustained note, which, you know, I think the synth pedal has an easier time with, but let's try it. Turn that up. Wow, it really does not like that at all. Okay, let's try with the compressor. I feel like it might just get crazy and run away real quick, but... Interesting. So it feels like it might extend the tails without self-oscillating. So usually this would get into a whole lot of distortion, but because this is just keeping the repeated trails up to volume, I think it's just extending it. So okay. Let's try some reverb on here, see how that feels. That's going to run away real quick. Here, watch the level on here. You have to really make sure anything that you put in the effects loop doesn't have some sort of volume boost or something like that, because other than that, it will just self-oscillate like crazy. Sort of diffuses everything, keeps everything kind of, smooths it out a little bit. Let's try running it through a delay. I can't even. The delay times were too similar, I couldn't even tell. That just kind of gets pretty runs wild. Sort of a little bit of a multi-head effect. Yeah, that's weird. All right, let's just get a little nuts. I feel like this is just gonna do nothing but run into itself and just self-oscillate like crazy, but let's try it. A little bit of that fuzz tone. Stupid. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me as I basically just indulged myself plugging different things into other stuff. I have a whole lot of pedals to put back together on my pedal board, but drop a comment about what your favorite combination was, or if there was a combination that I didn't do that you wanted to see, like if you wanted to see like a tremolo or something in there, or I don't know, some really weird thing that you want to see in there. Yeah, drop a comment. For my money, I think the winner is this combo right here. I just really love the way this makes this shimmer. It's a really unique thing. I tried to replicate the same thing on my Big Sky, and I actually couldn't, because there's something about the modulation on this that I just really, really love, that the Big Sky doesn't do with its modulation. Also, if you can find one of these, pick it up. Like, the final enclosure that actually ended up being sold was like a light blue, and I think he maybe oriented it this way. It's been a long time since I've played one of the ones that was actually like on the market, but it's a really great thing, and the effects loop really just brings this pedal to life like few other reverb pedals do. And so it's super fun. Find that. Jay's a great guy. He does great work. And yeah, thanks.